All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a special announcement out of the Professional Fighters League. So the PFL has announced the first event of their 2022 regular season that's going to feature the women's lightweight division. It's going to go down at PFL 2022 number 3 on May 6th. It's going to be headlined by a bout between Kayla Harrison, the current and reigning PFL tournament or season champ, and Marina Mokhnatkina, and we'll get to that fight in a moment. But there's going to be 5 total ladies bouts on this card. They decided the final lineup for the 2022 season, as they call it, and the lineup's actually not that bad this year. So we're going to just go over each fight just a little bit, talk about the basics of each fight, and what to look forward to for this event. It goes down Friday, May 6th. So first up, we have Vanessa Melo taking on Martina Drova. Now, Mello is 11-8 as a pro. Drova only 4-2. Mello is 3 years older, 34-31 for Drova. Vanessa Melo, she last fought in the UFC, got her first UFC win back in January of 2021 over Sarah Morris, and then was released after that, or I don't know, released, not contract, not renewed, whatever. Drova, on the other hand, last fought at PFL Challengers number 3 on March 4th of this year. So she fought very recently. She captured a split decision win over Jacqueline Cavalcanti. So here you have Vanessa Melo, who's moving up 2 weight classes, which is pretty typical for a lot of PFL fighters. She's a bantamweight. Now she's fighting as a lightweight, which basically means she's not cutting any weight for this. Might have even bulked up for this. If she's smart, she bulked up. Drova is actually moving up from featherweight, which is more typical of PFL. Should be a good one. I mean, Drova not nearly as experienced in MMA as Vanessa Melo. Is a Muay Thai, has a nice Muay Thai background though. So this should be a good one. Got the UFC vet versus the regional vet. Moving on to the second fight, we have Helena Kolsnik taking on Abigail Montez. Kolsnik comes in with a record of 5-4. Montez undefeated at 3-0. Kolsnik is 10 years the elder. She's 32. Montez only 22. Now, Kolsnik last fought, she dropped a loss via TKO or KO, whatever, to Larissa Pacheco in PFL last year in June, whereas Montez is coming off of that career-making win over Clarissa Shields back in October. This should be a good one. This is one of the fights that I'm really looking forward to on this card. Kolsnik has just not seemed able to put it together lately. I mean, I think she's 0-4 in her last 4, and she's also had weight problems ever since. She had weight problems at featherweight. She's had weight problems at lightweight, but I'm still interested in seeing if she can put it together. Montez, the sky's the limit for her right now, and she has all of the hype coming into this fight, coming off of that win over Clarissa Shields. So this is definitely one of the fights to keep an eye on. Next, we have a familiar face to PFL viewers, Larissa Pacheco taking on a newcomer, Zamzale Faisalanova. Pacheco coming in at 15-4, the lady with the most interesting name in the world, coming in at 7-1. Pacheco is, Faisalanova is the elder, 29-27 for Pacheco. It's hard. It's interesting that Pacheco's only 27. Seems like she's been around forever. Pacheco coming in off of a KO win over Helena Kolsnik at the same event in June of last year for PFL. Faisalanova last fought in August of last year, picking up a decision win over Koziso Komoldanova at Alish Pride 67. I hope I didn't murder that name. I've never actually gotten to see Zamzale Faisalanova fight live, so this will be the first time. I'm very interested in seeing this this Kazakh prospect. And of course, Pacheco has become pretty much a PFL mainstay at this point. Then we move on to another very interesting bout. Jenna Fabian coming in at 4-2, taking on Julia Budd, who's coming in at 16-3. Fabian has become another PFL mainstay herself. I think she's fought there for the last 2 or 3 years. And whereas Budd, we have the former Bellator featherweight champion looking to make one last go of it in the PFL. Budd is the elder fighter, 38-32. Now, Fabian is coming off of a loss to Kayla Harrison in August of last year. Julia Budd picked up a unanimous decision win over Caitlin Young back in October in her PFL debut. This is an interesting one because you've got two fighters who are primarily strikers. Fabian is, I think she's the tallest fighter in the tournament. I know she's like very tall and statuesque. She's, I want to say 6'2", something like that. Something ridiculously tall, which Budd is not used to seeing. She's used to being one of the biggest fighters in the cage. This is do or die for Julia Budd. You know, she wants to make a big run for it in the PFL this year. And at 38 years old, she hasn't really looked good since losing the Bellator title to Chris Cyborg. So this is her chance to really, redeem herself, look good against a much less experienced but no less dangerous Jenna Fabian here. So it's do or die for Julia Budd. And for Jenna Fabian, it's a chance to get a really, pretty big name on her record. Finally, we're coming to the main event of the evening. Kayla Harrison, the undefeated returning champion, coming in at 12-0. She's taking on Marina Mokhnatkina, coming in at 6-2. We've got judo versus sambo, which there's a lot of similarities in that one. Mokhnatkina is the elder fighter, 33-31. Harrison coming in off of a submission win in the PFL finals last year over Taylor Guardado. That occurred back in October. Mokhnatkina coming in off of a unanimous decision win over Claudia Zamora back in August in her PFL debut in a one-off fight. I like the style matchup in this one. Judo versus sambo. Both ladies at the highest levels of their respective sports when they were competing in them. Now they're both MMA fighters. Of course, Harrison has more experience. Mokhnatkina also, Mokhnatkina started off as a bantamweight, got signed to Bellator and moved up to featherweight because that's what bantamweights do when they get signed to Bellator. And then moved up to lightweight last year when she made her PFL debut. And I gotta be honest, she did good in that fight, but man, she was in weird shape, weird condition for that fight. You could tell she had packed on a lot of weight and muscle for that bout. But then she only got a unanimous decision. She only got a decision win over Claudia Zamora, and Zamora took that fight. If I remember correctly, she took it on very short notice. So that's not very impressive. I don't normally make picks this early in the game, this far out from fights, but I think this should be a pretty easy win for Kayla Harrison. So anyway, those are my initial thoughts. PFL 2022 number 3 goes down Friday, May 6th on ESPN Plus and I believe ESPN 2, the main card. Harrison versus Mokhnatkina is the only ladies fight on the main card. They're splitting the card with the welterweights. But let me know your thoughts on this lineup in the comments down below. If you like the video, please give it a like. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.